You bet it does. Welcome into Thursday's edition of The Big Show on your total sports station, KTGR. Andy Humphrey, Brendan Schaefer here. Thanks for coming on in. Oh, the horror. Oh, no. Sky is falling. NCAA tournament is officially 76 teams now. Woe is everyone. My goodness. I don't know how the sport is going to survive, Brendan. Really don't know.
I don't like it. I don't have to like it, but I don't think it's going to be that significant of a change the way that it looks like they're going to be doing it. So I don't know. I'm kind of over this one. If you want to get me fired up about the football one today, you can probably succeed in doing that, but I don't know about the basketball thing. It's okay. It's going to be okay, right? We're going to be all right, college basketball fans, I think.
Here's what we're asking is that because this is all juxtaposed, ironically, during this week, the college football coaches recommending that they go to 24 teams in the playoff, the NCAA officially making it a 76-team NCAA tournament field for both men's and women's. Is this playoff expansion too much? Is it too aggressive? Or is it reasonable? We want your thoughts on it today. 573-875-KTGR. We have more on that. We have more on the Cardinals. Big series in San Diego starting late tonight. And should the Chiefs go after this wide receiver now that things have maybe kind of cleared up for him off the field for now? We'll get to all of that, but let's get to this first.
Now, the Big Show's Big Deal.
It was coming down the pipe, and now it's official. The NCAA tournament is 76 teams. Look. It was coming, long time coming. The idea was floated out there about 5 years ago, and now it is finally going to come to fruition. But a lot of consternation over it, that this is too much. Too many bad teams are going to be in this tournament now. Bad teams, not even just mediocre, bad at-large teams at near the bottom of power conferences. And while there might be teams that probably shouldn't have had access to the NCAA tournament in past years and now have a little more access to it, maybe there are some good consequences to it as well. I think it's reasonable, but man, the college football playoff going past 16, that would really feel unreasonable to me. But I want to hear what you think about it. You're on the Big Show's Big Deal on the 7th day of May, 2026. Call or text us at 573-875-KTGR. Now we have the groundwork. It is no longer the first four, Brendan. It is the opening round. They didn't want to call it the first round.
Not the first round.
No.
Are we still calling the round of 64 the first round?
I don't know how
what
you
do we
can.
Do?
Like,
I don't know. Well,
it's
by not calling the little preamble the first round, that would seem to leave it open to be considered the first round. Remember, they used to call the round of 64 the second round. That happened for a minute.
Yeah.
With the first four, dawning in 2011 or whenever that was, they didn't really know at first what to do with that. And then they kind of came to their senses. I think I would prefer the opening round and then the first round and just ignore the fact that it might be a little bit awkward at first. I think everybody would get it. I think everybody would figure it out real quick.
I think they're going to call it the round of 64, if we're being honest.
Just call it by the number.
It'll be what that is. You can't call it the first round. You can't do what they did in calling it the second and third round. You can't go back to that.
No,
it was
that
a
didn't
very
make any sense
clear.
either.
I'm looking down at the bottom of the NCAA press release on this that was put out there today, and they still have trademarks. They have trademark on opening round. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, sure. They still have a trademark on first four. I don't know why you're keeping that.
Okay.
But
interesting.
It's very, very
First
odd
four.
that you still need that. But yeah, the opening round is how it's going to start Tuesday and Wednesday because you'll have 6 games per day. There are now going to be 3 per day in Dayton and then 3 per day in a different city, wherever that may be.
And they still don't know.
They
Haven't
know.
decided.
No, don't know the different city yet.
probably got to be, can I just guess it'll be like Indianapolis or something? Like, doesn't it have to be kind of centrally located a little bit to make it? I don't know. You can't have West Coast teams flying to Orlando or something. You know what I mean?
Well,
like that's going to happen quick, that turnaround.
You know what? Centrally located? I mean,
What's that?
both St. Louis and Kansas City are pretty centrally located.
Yeah.
That'd be cool,
I could see Kansas City getting in on that. I really could.
Yeah.
But Dayton's kind of like that's a little bit of a smaller town compared to, like, I could see them doing Indianapolis, but doing it in like a more historic field house type of vibe, one of those kind of places, rather than, like try to liven it up a little bit,
Right.
where it's like, it's a little bit of a more intimate venue. Like, remember 2020 with COVID, and then the next year, didn't they play like a lot of the games in and around Indianapolis, but just like at a bunch of different venues? Because they're like, it's,
when they
could
go
do
to
something.
Hinkle, I
They
think is like around there.
that's what I'm saying. They could lean into something like that. Maybe, I don't know. It's just an idea. They're not asking for my ideas, but if they need a good nudge, then that's something I've got.
Well, but I think whatever they choose, they would hope that this venue is the one they have somewhat permanently, kind of like Dayton, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Because Dayton's worked out pretty well, hasn't it? I mean, it's lasted to this point.
I kind of wish, and you can't really go back to it now with Dayton being such a mainstay of it. I wish they would kind of do what the women's tournament does. The women's tournament, every play-in game is at the site where they're going to play next, like in their quadrants. Like, just have an extra game there.
That would make sense,
right?
Yeah.
You could,
for travel purposes, that would be much better for those teams.
Travel purposes, I think even TV purposes, you won't have gaps between games. You could stagger them to where they start right as they end, and so you're not waiting for two teams to get off the floor and then have teams warm up because they're sharing the gym.
That's a good point.
And like those places are already preparing for NCAA tournament games anyway, so why not just have? Okay, you're going to start a little earlier. You're going to have a game Tuesday or Wednesday. Like, I feel like that would be the common sense part of it, but I don't think the men's tournament can back out of what they have already built in Dayton of like, this is the tradition. This is what we do in Dayton. It starts Tuesday and Wednesday, and so we just need to add the pot to it. But I would go that way. They won't. But bottom line, is this too aggressive? Is 76 teams too aggressive?
Okay, so they were at 68.
Yeah.
If they're going to expand, you got to do it in increments of 4, I would think, right? So is 76 that different from 72? My answer would be no. Like, if you're going to expand this, I don't think the 72 versus 76. We talked about this last year when we thought it might happen then, that it was not really, I think, the end of the world as long as they keep the format. And they're doing that, right? Like the round of 64 is still going to be largely kind of considered the main piece of all of this, and that'll be the exact same as it's been. There are some implications of doing it this way where, like, now every matchup to earn a 16 seed, you got to win a game.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's going to be the case for every single 16 seed. And then there's going to be a stray couple of 15 seed matchups that'll be the same. What was curious to me, and I don't know if this is, maybe you can tell me if this is something they've mandated or if this is just how it's naturally going to fall. For the at-larges, like March Madness Basketball, the official account released, like, here's what the new bracket's going to look like. And they've got the 11 versus 11. They've got a couple of those, and they've got all the 12 versus 12s. I don't guess they'll know in a given year what that's going to be, though. Will they? Like, or are they going to mandate that? Because that's never been the case before. It was always based on this curve and the seed line that determined, like, I wonder if, though, with so many of these at-larges now, are they going to kind of mandate that? Or is it just like March Madness said, like, here's an example of how it would have looked this year? Because a lot of the times it is those 11s and 12s. But how those top AQs, those teams like Miami, Ohio, had they won, right? How many of those kind of supersede the line and mess up the seeding could be interesting to see if they keep it the same. But yeah, the at-larges, they listed a pair of 11s and all the 12 games. They said we're going to be at-large battles.
I think that's malleable. I think they're just creating a template of like, okay, this is what it could look like. Probably 12s, but maybe there's a year where they have to stick one of those games on the 13 line, and then there's a 13 play-in just based on how many mid-majors get their auto bid but are good enough to be in the tournament
better
anyway.
Than the at-larges.
Right, yeah.
Yep.
So I think
right.
that's probably something that can be changed in a similar way like it was before. You can standardize, though, all 16s are play-ins, and then 2 of the 15s are play-ins. That you can expect each and every year.
Mm-hmm.
I think, though, look, people will say, man, you're killing those mid-major teams. No, I think they're going to ask to play in that game. I think they're cool with, playing in an NCAA tournament game and having a better chance to win it. And I think it will have the effect. Like, people will say, well, now you're sticking them against better teams in their next round game because they would have been facing a 2 and instead they're facing a 1. Well, flip it the other way. Now a 1 is facing a team that would have been a 15, and now you're going to have a better chance to see upsets there. So
I think that part, I've gone back and forth on this. I think that part is right. It does become more difficult in general to see an upset. But I think because teams that would have been a 13 are now being pushed down to 14, right? And so from that standpoint, a team that was worthy of, give me my shot at a 4 seed, I can take them. They might have been right. They have a tougher time beating a 3 seed than they would have a 4 seed, just generally speaking. So like that squeeze, I think, is going to be real. But on the very bottom of it, sure, like the idea that there are now going to be 8 conference champion teams, the bottom 8 of your field on the S curve, 76 up to 69 or whatever the math is on that to get to 8 teams. Those teams are going to be playing for their chance to, they're going to win a game, and then they'll all get a crack at a 1 seed. And like, I don't know, those teams were going to be in last year's tournament anyway. They just would have been seeded 68th through 61st and not 76th through 69th. So like from that perspective, they're the same plucky underdog that they would have been. But there's going to be some tougher teams potentially. Teams that used to be bona fide number 15 seeds are now going to be on the 16 line after having, like, they got to win their way into doing that. But like the quality of those teams might be a little bit higher so that your 1 seed's got to watch your back. But I don't know. I don't know how often that's still going to end up happening anyway. But we gotta think through all of the impacts that it could have because, well, we've got 10 months until March Madness, so we're gonna talk about it and debate what the impact is going to be.
And look, I think in this way, this is a reasonable move. This is not overstepping what the NCAA tournament should be. We're not going to 96. That's never on the table. That would be overstepping. That would be aggressive. And let's not
I
ever
don't think they can expand again, by the way. I don't think they can, like...
Yeah, you can't.
Are we just going to keep taking nickel and diming us to get to 80 and then 84, and then the next thing you know, it's like, well, we're almost at 96 anyway. Let's just, like, I really think we should just cool it for now, but...
Right. No, I agree. I think this is a great place to have it stop for a while. Like, unless we start getting a huge influx of schools and a huge influx of power conference schools, it's like this is a good place to have it just settle at for the next 20 years, hopefully, or whatever it is. Like, so.
Well, and this one was 15. I mean, this last one did last for 15 years, so it's not like it was a blip on the radar, but I don't know. And maybe we'll feel differently in 20 years and it'll just be the same as it ever was, where things keep changing and evolving as time goes on. But that round of 64, you want to make sure that's still kind of the same that it's felt in past years.
Do you think they will make people fill out their brackets sooner?
No, they can't. They could.
I mean,
they won't. I mean, who's they? It's going to be up to, whatever the individual, contest is. You run your contest on ESPN or you run your contest on Yahoo or whatever. So that's really going to be, but I think the popular way to do it will be we'll let the dust settle on that opening round, but I don't know. I guess we'll find out when we get there.
Because I could see the argument for it of, okay, well, now people really will be invested in those first couple of days. If you're going to build those 2 days up, then have it be so that they're filling out their brackets, and now they actually do have more of a reason to watch those opening round games, as they're going to be calling them. That would be the argument for it. I don't know if I'd be totally on board. At the same time, it'd be like, okay, I just have to reframe my time that I get to fill out this bracket, which only.
So when are they starting the games, by the way?
I don't think that is set in stone yet. They didn't say when in the day they're going to be starting on Tuesday.
No, that's what I'm asking. Tuesday is when they're starting.
Tuesday is their first day still.
Okay.
Maybe it does matter what time of day they start.
It's going to have to be, unless they're running all these games at the same time, it's going to have to be a day-long process if you're doing Tuesday, Wednesday. Yeah, it's going to be all day. Otherwise, you're going to need multiple venues, not just two.
Well,
you got only 3 games now.
It's 3 games a day. It's 3 games a day. So it's still like you can stagger it in a similar way like you have for
like a site.
Like a Thursday, Friday type deal where a site has 4 games a day. So you can start it a little bit later. I would guess probably mid-afternoon is when you're starting at both sites, give or take, something like that, to get 3 games in. But we'll see for sure. I think that most places would want to ease into those games anyway. So probably you still see brackets stay available or modifiable.
But like these, three games a day per site, right? You're going to have those games happening at the same time, or
right.
You know, there's going to be, it's maybe not for one individual site. Is it an all day thing? But unless you're going to be doing some simulcasting, which I think they're inevitably going to be doing in the primetime hours, it's going to be lengthy affairs on on both days now, because you have that to get to 64. You know, you've got to just the sheer number of teams. Like, it is growing. It's growing in a way that it's going to be a lot more noticeable how many teams are going to have to be involved. I mean, it's 24 teams, right, that are playing in those games. Yeah. So that's going to be, you'll notice that difference compared to what it had been.
For sure. Call or text us. What do you think about tournament expansion? Is it too aggressive or is it reasonable? The basketball one's official. That's coming.
Mm-hmm.
The football one, not close to official. But once you see the coaches kind of get on board, you're like, okay, let's prepare for this possibility, I suppose.
Feels like it could be coming.
I mean, that one would be an overstep. That one, to me, and I largely feel this way, Brendan, also because of how we have seen this field get selected. Because I could see, like, there is a bit more of a transparent process to me, at least, to the NCAA tournament and how they select those teams. I mean, they've told us before, like, hey, this is the metric we're using a little bit. Hey, we're using wins above the bubble a little bit more. You'll notice this. Yeah. Like, they told us that right away the last couple of seasons. Who the heck knows what the college football playoff does every year? Like, that is just throw up in the air a few pieces of criteria, take a few out of the air, and these are the ones we're going to favor this time around. Like, right. It is different seemingly every single year. And that's why
not a consistent process with that. Yeah.
I just, that to me, just taking the top 25 essentially.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Right. It is. I feel like it needs to be a little more earned. And that if you're in the top 25, you have a shot at it, but you're not guaranteed to be in it.
Yeah, and it's interesting, too, because a lot of the history of the CFP rankings outside the top 12, like as you get further down, there would be many folks who would say, yeah, they're just ranking in order to almost justify the top 12.
Yeah.
Like, let's get some SEC teams in there to make sure that we are, making those guys look good. Because, yeah, they did beat Tennessee in week 6, and we'll keep Tennessee at 24 because that kind of not like I'm not in the room when they're doing that, but it's not hard to imagine that it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy within that, because you're crediting teams for getting these wins against ranked opponents. Those guys have to become ranked and then stay ranked in order to remain accredited within what the resume of those top 12 teams are. So like it sort of feeds into itself within that, and how they would then either change it or not based on, hey, now 22 actually matters a whole lot, would end up being really, really interesting to see how maybe that methodology would or wouldn't change as you get further down the top 25.
And it just takes a larger chunk of what is a power four within FBS that I think that just encompasses a lot more of the available teams that have access to this playoff. And that really does water down the field with some teams that do not deserve it. Let's be honest. Like,
your 8 and 4s are all going to be in the SEC. I mean, more or less. It's just, which is whatever. Like, this is what we talked about, and that's why I would think the SEC might be for it. Like, we haven't heard from them, but I would think as a conference, they would look at that and say, yeah, our concern with this going to a 9-game schedule, which we had to do because the money's too good not to. But the downside is potentially if we don't get a handle on that format, could we end up getting burned a little bit by it? Well, look at the CFP rankings in recent years. You got plenty of SEC teams on down the line. Teams that go 8 and 4 are going to be looking pretty darn good to make at least the top 24. That's a lot lower bar to clear.
And again, we see these rankings every single week, pretty much, at least until the CFP. The CFP ones are the ones that matter. You won't convince me that the AP top 25 doesn't at least enter into the minds of the committee, even not a bit at all. Like,
unless they go through their whole season without looking at them once, which is impossible. Yeah, there's an unconscious bias to that they're going to have an influence.
They watch the games, and the games still put the team's number on the score bug, and it is impossible to ignore. So, like, it's going to put a lot more emphasis on that, if you ask me. Like, even the preseason one. Like, people say the preseason one doesn't matter, but like, that is where we're starting. That's the starting point for every team here. And not the NCAA, but the College Football Playoff Committee can say that they have their own process as much as possible. But even seeing their process of like, hey, we're just going to take 30 teams, we're going to take them as groups of 6, and then we're going to discuss them in these groups of 6. Okay, but how are you choosing those 30 teams? Like, what's the baseline for that? It's just, that's why because I have less trust in that group, I feel even worse about it going to 24, especially if they decide just a whole at-large deal with all of that. Like, if you're going to 24, I would almost want there to be play-in games for them. Like, the whole that's when I actually come around to the idea a little bit.
Well, but now in a way, there's a play-in to the top 16, right? And the way that it's being proposed is that the top 8 would be getting a bye,
right?
And then that 9 through 24 would be paired up, and those games would be on campuses, which is great. Round of 16, would that still be on campuses? Obviously, this isn't like an official accepted proposal yet.
Right. I would hope
that's
so.
Me too, because why would you need to change that aspect of it if that's how it currently is? Like, I would love to see as many advantages for the higher seeds as possible. Like, take that as deep into the tournament as you can, because otherwise, why are we doing the regular season in college football if we go to 24? Because it is going to just matter all that much less after you realize, and your point about the AP influencing these rankings is fair, but then the more you look at it, you go, well, a team that wasn't in them, all they got to do is break into 24th. You could go from not being in the top 25 at all in the second to last week of the thing, and then you have a good win or somebody loses ahead of you, and you're in the playoff, and you weren't even ranked a week ago. So we weren't really paying a lot of attention to you. Like, the way that is going to morph and shift is going to be, will they give us honorable mentions after a top 24? Like, what do it's going to be very interesting to because I would argue that they won't. I would argue that they'll leave as much room for themselves to not have to face scrutiny as absolutely possible. So we'll rank fewer teams and not tell you who's on the cusp, because that way if it doesn't benefit us to put it that way in the following week, we don't have to, because we're not beholden to what we told you a week ago about those teams. So it's going to be interesting. I would love to see them go on campus for as long as possible, because that would mean having the 9 seed would be something, because you'd at least get 2 home games in a row. Like that would at least be the benefit of, or excuse me,
you'd have to go to the next one, but that would guarantee that the top buys, like right now, if you have a bye, you don't get a home game. Like that would allow them to have.
Good point. So 1 through 8 would then get a home game. If you're ranked 9th and you're like, well, shoot, man, I didn't. Well, at least you're getting that home game in the first round and playing a team that a week ago wasn't a ranked opponent. So like, if you can't get through that game, then you probably didn't deserve to win the championship as that 9 seed. So like, there's still ways to kind of reward it and keep it beneficial to have as good of a resume as you can versus whatever, 8-4. But like, correct me if I'm wrong about this. College basketball, you can do that. You can be like the 11 seed NC State a few years ago that made the Final Four. You can have a lackluster regular season, just kind of like sneak in and then go on a run. It's possible if you're talented enough. Mm-hmm. In football, I've always enjoyed that that's not a thing. There are penalties for your losses, and now we've kind of widened the gap a little bit where it's like, all right, you can have a couple. If you're an SEC team, like you get a couple, but most of you guys, you lose the second game, like that's going to be a problem for you. You're going to be able to go 8-4, and it's like, hey, we're still Bama, and we're going to, on any given Saturday, we got to that's what's going to happen. There's not going to be a penalty for those quote unquote blue bloods to go 8-4, because they'll be having a down year, but that's a year they could still win the championship if they get hot, or at least go to go deep into the college football playoff. Don't love it, but again, just like with the basketball thing now being official, that feels like it's on the way too.
Well, I want to know from Mizzou fans what you think about these expansion ideas. One is official. NCAA tournament's now 76. College football playoff could go to 24 if the AFCA really gets their way, the Coaches Association in college football. Call or text us with what you think at 573-875-KTGR. We'll talk more about Mizzou next. Speaking of the 9-game schedule, in order to allow for that, they're going to need to shave some non-con games. And there are a few interesting scheduling tidbits across the rest of college football today that we learned about. Will Mizzou be starting to shave here very soon? And will we find out about that coming up here soon? That's next here on The Big Show.
The best subscriptions in life are free. Subscribe to KTGR on YouTube to watch The Big Show and other exclusive content. YouTube.com/@KTGR Sports.
Hi, everyone. Andy Humphrey here for Advanced Tree Solutions. If you don't have tree experts in your corner yet, it's important to get them, because lawn care services, they're hit and miss as to whether or not they know actually how to care for your trees the right way. And you're going to have even less luck with electrical companies if you're trying to figure out how you can get your trees away from power lines. So call Eric and his team at Advanced Tree Solutions, because they do this all the time. They know exactly what your trees need. They know how to take care of safety issues to prevent damage to your home. They can remove trees that are dead. They can do stump grinding, stump removal. They can take care of pest issues involving your trees, so much more. Go and check out their full range of services at advancedtreesolutionsllc.com. And I promise you, if you work with Eric, you'll become a friend of Eric's. He is excellent with everyone he comes in contact with. So go to advancedtreesolutionsllc.com and let Eric and his team care for your trees. Give your trees the care they deserve with Advanced Tree Solutions, your tree's best friend.
From elegant weddings to corporate lunches with flavor and flair, Courtyard by Marriott Columbia brings the party and the pros. It's the home of Main Event Catering. And with every event, you'll get an award-winning chef, full banquet staff, and drop-and-go options for any size crowd. And the event center holds up 300 guests with 8 flexible rooms. If you need help, there's a Marriott certified wedding coordinator on staff too. Book now by calling 573-443-8000.
Bottom of the ninth, game on the line. Here's the pitch.
What?
Oh no, we're gonna miss the end of the game.
It's those nasty storms again.
Come on, honey, don't blame it on the storms.
What do you mean?
I told you to call Midway Electric to get us that backup generator. Now can you please call them so we don't miss another big play?
Don't let spring storms get in the way of baseball season. Let Midway Electric keep your power on no matter the weather.
Yeah!
Midway Electric, powered by people with pride. MidwayElectricInc.com.
Play It Again Sports, Little League Soccer, low lights. Emma into the box. She shoots and scores for the other team. Shot on net, and the goalie is nowhere to be found. Oh, there he is. He's back from the porta potty with Dad. Owen into the open, dribbles, stops, and waves at his mom.
Hi, honey.
Kids' sports aren't always pretty, but with the right gear, they can at least look like pros. Play It Again Sports in Columbia. Think of them first so you don't finish last. Play It Again Sports, ColumbiaMo.com.
It all began with a guy and a truck. One truck became two trucks became four, which became 10, 22, and now all kinds of bright red Steve's Pest Control trucks filled with experts.
Hi, I'm Steve with Steve's Pest Control, and I have a regiment of big red trucks and a team of experts ready to fight your pest problem, and it will be solved. I guarantee it.
From tons of termites to baskets full of bed bugs, call Steve's Pest Control. Online at stevespestcontrol.com.
Steve's Pest Control.
1851 Underground Tap and Grill in Fulton loves celebrating a change of season. Spring means new flavors in the specialty cocktail menu, as well as seasonal beers. At 1851 Underground, spring also means the Cards and Royals on TV, with the new hope of a new season. Plus plenty of space with pool tables and a beautiful wraparound bar. Find them on Facebook for daily specials, too. It's not a secret, but it is underground. 1851 Underground Tap and Grill in the historic Brick District, downtown Fulton.
They can't shoot it straight on the golf course, but they can shoot straight on the biggest sports stories in mid-Missouri. Back to Andy and Brendan on The Big Show on KTGR.
Do you like the expansion plans for the playoffs in both college hoops and college football? The hoops one is official now. 76-team NCAA tournament. You can expect that next year. College football playoff, well, it's going to be 12 this year, but there are some folks out there that want it to be 24, and that would be too much. I think it'll be interesting to see what Greg Sankey now says, because, look, if he hears it enough from his coaches, we have seen that kind of shift the mentality a little bit, because they were in on 9 games. And eventually we got 9 games. They were in on like the playoff expansion the first time, or like stumping for a 14 or a 16. And that's essentially what the SEC held fast to until the Big Ten all of a sudden said, oh, let's get more. But Greg Sankey has had a history of listening to what his coaches say and going for that and essentially trying to align with them, even if it means at times if there are ADs out there that didn't agree. He is usually sided with the coaches. So I am now interested to see, especially at these spring meetings they're about to have in Destin, what that means.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. I do think the SEC weighing in is really the next big thing that we need to see happen. I'll be very interested too. I mentioned last segment about just from the SEC perspective that an 8-4 would put you in a really great spot. Missouri and Tennessee were both 8-4 last year and were not in the final CFP rankings, but also you had North Texas was 25. James Madison was 24. Yeah. I'd be very curious. Iowa was 23. I'd just be very curious if it would go the same, or if the SEC would actually end up getting a little bit more love. Last year, though, was an interesting year where you had so many of those 10-2, 9-3s that were kind of knocking on the door of being in the top 12. 7 of the top 14 were SEC. I feel like 9-3 would be a cinch. Like, you would never even have to wonder anymore as an SEC team. And then if you had a good strength of schedule, probably you're talking about 8-4 being a consideration. But again, I think it's going to be more valuable to be an 8-4 SEC team in a future where you're playing 9 conference games too. So I think that's going to be a feather in the cap of the conference for sure.
Well, speaking of that, there's some work to be done from Mizzou's angle to make sure that they are at 12 games total, given the fact that they're about to go to 9 games in the SEC, and that for the next 5 years after this one, they've got 4 non-conference games on the books still that we know of. And it's been interesting to see across college football that some of that news kind of breaking today. Like Florida State and Georgia were supposed to play a home and home. They canceled that, and apparently they're trying to work on a neutral site matchup. If that is not Atlanta, then I'll I mean, I'll do something crazy, whatever you want, just whatever that is. But that's where it's going to be. Alabama had to. They're going to keep their Ohio State one, I think, but I think they were going to do Oklahoma State, and I don't think that's happening anymore. Or maybe that's what they added in response to canceling something else. Bottom line, a lot of work has to be done to shave these down. And look, from Mizzou's purposes, it's maybe just picking the G5s that you want to keep and the ones that you don't want to keep, I suppose.
Well, I think it goes deeper than that because which they won't know. We've got 4 years of schedule now in terms of conference opponents. When, not the dates, but we know the where.
Yeah.
Who you're playing and where.
Yeah.
This coming season, the first of that 9-game schedule, Missouri has 5 home games and
correct.
4 road games.
Yep.
Right? So it works out that they get 7 total games at home because the 3 non-cons are Pine Bluff and Troy at home. They go to Kansas. So because you have the 5 and 4 split in your favor on home games when it comes to conference play, you can afford to have a road game in the non-con, and you still end up with 7 at home. 2027 is not going to be that way, and that's where it gets dicey right away because it'll flip. They'll only have 4 games at home in the conference schedule out of 9. So in order to give your home fans 7, every non-con would have to be a home game. As of now, Illinois State, Florida Atlantic are home games. I believe they're scheduled to play Illinois, but we don't know.
They are.
Where?
We're not sure where. They were trying to work on a neutral site for some of the games for that series when they shaved the games off of it.
Because they took away 2026. That would have been a game that was played this coming season. It was going to be a road game for Missouri as well.
Correct.
And so, again, you had to shave a road game. You couldn't go to Kansas and Illinois. It just for the reasons of giving your home fans enough games.
Right.
But next year, the road game, so we don't know on Illinois. We know Florida Atlantic, Illinois State. I would be surprised if either of those go anywhere. That gets you to 6 at home. The other 2 are Illinois, question mark on whether that would be home, road, or in between.
Yeah.
And at San Diego State, which from a Mizzou as a big boy in the SEC perspective, you cannot play that game in 2027. Period. The end. No more discussion.
Yes, I understand.
From the perspective,
I want to go to San Diego. I want to go.
I want them to keep that game. That's going to be tough, but they're not going to play that game.
No,
I'm just telling you right now. There's not a chance in the world they're playing that game. I hope I'm wrong because I would be there. I would be there with bells on, as they say. But I don't think there's a chance in the world of them playing that football game in 2027.
Look,
I'll tell you that right now.
It's very simple with, I think, the next couple of years. You cancel that home and home with San Diego State. Now, they are on the books for 2033 and 2034. So I guess for now, you could keep that. But, it's very simple. You get rid of 2027's road game at San Diego State. And then at the same time, you can shave away the home game you have for them in 2028. That leaves you with,
because that gets you down to the right number. And you go to Illinois in 2028, but that's your only one. And that should be another 5 slate for the home schedule and conference play. So you get 7 at home. Yeah. If you cancel a home game that year, that's okay. You can do that.
Yeah. It would be this year. The same thing. You just swap out Kansas for Illinois.
Same. It would be very similar setup.
Right.
The other aspect of that for next year, for 2027, they do still have that rule in there that you have to play a power opponent. Is that that accurate?
So you're playing Illinois. Yeah.
Illinois fits the billing on that. The thing of it is, if it's not at home, which it's
I think they're going to play in St. Louis. Where else are they going to play?
You're probably right, and that's fine. But it's they lopped a road game off the schedule that they're not going to play. So Illinois is not going to want to play just in Columbia, right? They're going to want to say, let's, since we got an odd number of games now on the board, let's have that fifth one be, which is going to come first because all the other ones are scheduled out. But I think they had a 6-game schedule, right? So that first one is going to have to be neutral. It's probably going to have to be in St. Louis. There's probably an aspect of this, and I'm going to see the Battlehawks tomorrow night, but there's probably an aspect of this too where they're like, is the Dome going to be, are we going to be, they played Memphis in the Dome and I was there and it was lovely, but like
turf was rough. It was rough.
Turf was pitiful, which I think they've since replaced. So that's not an issue, but like just in general, that the upkeep, like you can go up high in that building and wipe your hand on one of the seats and it's just dusty. Like it's like the little stuff that should not be, if we're going to talk about playing a Mizzou, Illinois game there, I would like to think that they can get a little bit more, but I've been to, that's my home, right? But I just know what it's going to be tomorrow night when I go. I already know what it's going to be. And so it's kind of like that angle. If I'm Mizzou in Illinois, like, is that going to be good enough for what we're doing here? I don't know. They're not going to let you play it at the soccer field as much as you'd like to do that. That would be really cool.
Yeah.
But they're not going to let you do that. So I don't know. I don't know what the solution is other than the Dome, and maybe that's part of the rub. Here's one for you. This wouldn't shock me one bit. If they end up playing that game in Chicago, I would not be surprised one teensy little bit.
Well, here's what you would do. Play that game in Chicago, and then I'm going to try and make sure that I find the spot where it is.
I don't know if you need to adjust it at all after that.
Well,
honestly.
In 2033, I guess technically it says in Columbia, Missouri, but I would think that they were going to try for a neutral site for it. I don't know. Like you could say Chicago there. Okay. In 2033, we're going to Kansas City.
You could do that, but I don't think you have to. I think it was a 6-game series where it was going to be home and home for all of them. They canceled the first one because you had to.
It was 8, I think.
Was it 8?
They were going to do 8. They canceled 2026, and they canceled, I want to say it was 2032, or like because there was a gap in between. It was like 4 years in a row and then another 4 years in a row. But then they shaved a couple of games off of both.
Okay. I thought they only took one away, and so then now it's an odd number, and you just do it. But no, okay. It's still going to be, it was 8, and now it's going to be 6.
Yes.
Okay.
But that would be how I would propose it. Like, okay, you want to play in Chicago? Cool. We're going to come to Kansas City next.
Okay, but what year did you say?
2033. New stadium.
Are the gears turning though for you, Andy?
There's a new stadium for the Kansas City Chiefs.
There. Located where?
In Kansas.
Can't do it. Like you literally can't. That's not a joke. I'm not having fun. Like you can't actually play a Missouri football game in that stadium. You cannot. You can't. I'm sorry.
Neutral site.
You know
it's
this.
A neutral site.
You cannot play a Mizzou home game in the state of Kansas. The sentence is over. The discussion is over. They can't do it. If they were building where the Royals are building their baseball stadium, yes, you could. All of this would be cool. But I know you're smiling at me. You actually can't do that.
Arrowhead will still be standing. You just go back into Arrowhead.
Like, if they haven't demoed Arrowhead, right. You can certainly play it at Arrowhead.
Yeah.
You cannot play it in the new stadium in the state of Kansas. You know as well as I do that that's not an option. If it weren't for that little detail, it would actually be a great fit because, and here's why I say the Chicago thing, like they're already playing volleyball at Wrigley. You've noticed like a lot of I see it on social media of the way that they're kind of building up the Chicago. That's what they're gearing up for. That will be a game played in 2027 at Soldier Field, I assume. Or they might even play it at Wrigley. I don't even know if that's a thing that you can do with those dimensions. I know
they've played football games there. Yeah,
they've done it.
Yeah,
that would be sick. As someone who openly acknowledges that Illinois is a Chicago school, not a St. Louis school, they would be getting the home field. But there's a lot of Mizzou alums up in Chicago. That would be sick. I would prefer it at Wrigley to Soldier Field, by the way, too. That would be super cool.
Love to see
I would prefer it. I'm going to say it. Don't tell the St. Louis people I said it. I would prefer they play that game in Chicago if it's at Wrigley compared to the Dome in St. Louis. I like from like a perspective of been there, done that versus never done that before. I would prefer them if my choices are Wrigley or the Dome for that 2027 game. I I would choose Wrigley.
Seems like a nicer stadium, honestly. Like just
as a Mizzou
just to have all that.
It's not a newer stadium, but you wouldn't necessarily know it by looking at the two.
No, no, you would not.
That's a crazy question of like, would you rather? But I think the answer is clear for me. As a fan going to the game, it's easily Wrigley Field compared to the Dome. Sorry, St. Louis.
Call or text us, 875-KTGR. If you're a St. Louis person, if you're more centric to that area, let Brendan know your grievances. You're siding with a Chicago venue over your beloved Dome that you love to go to for, I guess, only the Battlehawks. But you still love it. Caw-caw! Yeah. I'm sure there's concerts there too, still, somewhat. Call or text us, 875-KTGR here on The Big Show.
I actually think AC/DC is going to be there.
That's right. So, if it's good enough for AC/DC, gosh darn, it should be good enough for Mizzou football. Coming up, under the bus, the Love Boats. Next.
Now, your local sports center update on your total sports station, KTGR.
Good afternoon. I'm Andy Humphrey. This Sports Center update is with Lee's Tire Company. If it's round and rubber, Lee's sells it. Go to leestirecompany.com. Earlier this afternoon, the Royals lost to the Guardians 8-5. Seth Lugo lasting just 4 innings, giving up 4 runs in his start. Bobby Witt Jr. and Vinny Pasquantino went back-to-back in home runs in the 7th inning, but it was not enough. Royals fall to 17-21. They split that 4-game series with Guardians and will host the Detroit Tigers for a weekend series coming up at Kauffman Stadium starting tomorrow night. Cardinals are in San Diego taking on the Padres for the start of a 4-game series. First pitch is tonight at 9:10 p.m. Coverage begins at 8:15 on KTGR. It'll be Matthew Liberatore starting tonight for St. Louis. And the father of Mizzou gymnastics, Jake Jacobson, passed away Tuesday at the age of 89. Jacobson started the Mizzou gymnastics program back in 1979 and was the coach of the school's gymnastics program until 1999. Your ABC 17 Storm Track forecast from Boone County Office of Emergency Management, reminding you to be Boone County ready. Make a plan, stay informed, and sign up for Smart 911 emergency alerts. Ready.boonemo.gov.
I'm ABC 17 Storm Track Chief Meteorologist Jessica Hafner. I'm tracking increasing clouds tonight with temperatures dropping down into the upper 40s. Tomorrow we'll see some spotty showers possible in the morning with scattered showers and storms by afternoon. A couple of those could bring strong wind gusts and some small hail, especially south of I-70 through early evening. After that, we are left with clearing skies heading into the weekend with sunshine on Saturday.
I'm meteorologist John Ross, and that's your ABC 17 Storm Track forecast on your total sports station, KTGR.
Midway Electric presents the High School Sports Power Player of the Week.
This week features Columbia Independent tennis player Wyatt Litton. Last weekend, Wyatt earned the individual district championship in Class 1 District 3 and will move on to the state tournament next week. Wyatt has a record of 17-1 so far this season.
That's the Power Player of the Week with Midway Electric, powered by people with pride. MidwayElectricInc.com.
Spring is in the air, and Alev's long-lasting pain relief is here to keep you moving. The days are longer and the flowers are blooming. Whether it's gardening, yard work, or just spending more time outdoors, spring is a way of getting us moving despite any body pain. That's where Aleve can keep you going. With just 1 dose, Aleve gives you long-lasting body pain relief for up to 12 hours. From sunup to sundown, Aleve's got your back. Try Aleve. Use as directed for minor aches and pains.
Progressive knows that boat days can come with unexpected problems.
Oh no, I dropped my lip balm in the water. I can't think of anything worse than the looming threat of potentially having chapped lips. It was ginger vanilla too, my favorite flavor.
If a real problem comes along, your boat's protected 24/7 with Progressive, so you can keep worrying about boater problems. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates, not available in D.C.
Who doesn't love spring? The sunshine, birds are chirping, and you're busier than a pack mule hauling boxes out of the garage. This is Silas Coons from Coons Glass. Push pause on the spring cleaning and get a hold of us about installing a screened-in porch. It'll keep bugs out while letting the fresh air of spring in. And it's an excuse to stop treating spring cleaning like it's moving day. Visit us at CoonsGlass.com.
Coons Glass, you can see through it, we do it.
Spring is here, and everything winter left behind is showing. The garage you can't park in, the shed you can't open, the attic full of, we'll deal with it later. Well, let me tell you, later is now. Time to call Wreck and Roll. From spring cleanouts and hauling junk away to full cleanups. They bring the crew, the dumpsters, and the muscle, so you don't have to. Get ahead of the clutter and start spring off clean with Wreck and Roll, where they roll in, wreck it right, and leave it clean. Find them at wreckandroll.net.
Your yes matters. It matters to the mom waiting for a lung, the child hoping for a kidney, the grandfather praying for a new heart.
Because someone said yes, I got a second chance.
People are stepping up, making the choice that saves lives. Your yes can change everything.
Say yes today. Join the Missouri Donor Registry at donatelifemissouri.org. DonateLifeMissouri.org. Brought to you by the Missouri Department of Health and Senior Services.
Gotta go to the bathroom. I'll be right back.
Sweetie, the backyard's that way.
Oh, yeah. Just figured I'd use the toilet.
It's not normal for your man to pee indoors. He could be suffering from low D, low deck. A low deck just isn't as fun to pee off.
Maybe I'll try sitting down.
Or no D, no deck at all. But there's help. With Crutch's Custom Exteriors, a sky-high pee platform is all he needs to be and pee like a man again. Crutch's Custom Exteriors, true beauty is on the outside.
Your time is valuable, especially the time spent with family. Bax Homeworks gets it. That's why their carpenters enjoy a 4-day work week. Yep, 3-day weekends, great pay, and no one breathing down your neck. Up to $28 per hour, too, depending on experience. Plus benefits, insurance, and paid time off. No micromanaging here. Just get the job done and enjoy the freedom you deserve. Make the right call and put your family first with Bax Homeworks. Apply today at BaxHomeworks.com or MidmoHires.com.
Tired of calling Andy and Brendan? So are their wives. Then shoot them a text right now. 573-875-KTGR and become part of the Big Show.
So now we have seen video of Mike Vrabel and Diana Rossini getting on a boat together.
Oh, for the love of all that is holy.
On a lake in Tennessee in 2021, while Rossini was apparently pregnant. It's just, there will be something that comes out every month about this until
Here's the truth.
There's resolution.
They both deserve every bit of it. Because if they had just not been so indignant and adamant with their reactions at first, nobody would still care anymore. But they were so outlandish. Oh, it's laughable that anybody would think they should get whatever's out there. And how could you have such hubris to know what you did running around for 6 years and to not think that anybody ever saw you and that stuff would come up? I really don't have any sympathy other than for like everyone else in their families.
Yeah.
That's who I feel bad for, because it's not their fault that these two are complete doofuses.
Because it makes them just look awful in the process too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just more and more that way. Rossini has been vague about it. Certainly Vrabel has been vague about it, despite numerous chances to clear things up. But it has gotten just worse and worse at every turn. Congrats to Mizzou golfer Veka Viscari qualifying for the NCAA men's golf tournament. He's the first Mizzou men's golfer to do it as an individual in 8 years, I believe, or correction, 5 years. And he's going to be going to Arizona, competing as an individual there. I think probably at around the same time that the women's golf team will be competing as a team, as a 5 seed in the NCAA championships for women's golf. So congrats to Viscari for that. And also congrats to Mizzou women's golf for qualifying last week.
Yep. Just a bunch of people who do stuff on a golf course that I cannot do. I cannot.
Nor
I
can
wish
I.
I could.
Yeah, that'd be cool
Wish
if
I
we
could, but
we could do things like that.
Nope.
We're going to make our attempt to do things like that in a few weeks at the Cougar Club and Scholarship Fund Golf Tournament.
Ready to go. As ready as I'll ever be, I suppose.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
We'll be ready for that. Hopefully our team will be able to carry us once again this year.
That would be good. Yeah, get some ringers, would you?
Yeah, I'll try my best. But that'll be coming up June 1st. If you want to get more details on that, the Cougar Club and Scholarship Fund Golf Tournament, go to KTGR.com right now, and you can sign up for a 4-person team as well as become a sponsor for the event if you would like. So go and check that out at KTGR.com. We're talking Cardinals next. Can they gain even more from a series in San Diego against the team that has also started very hot? We'll talk about that at 5:05. Some more injury concerns, it seems now, for the Royals as we learn more about injuries to Cole Reagans and Carlos Estevez following their loss to the Guardians today. We'll get to that here on The Big Show, KTGR.
If you have ever tried explaining your business to someone in one little sentence, you know it's not easy. Now, imagine showing someone what you do with emotion, story, plus visuals and characters that actually stick. That's the power of video. From brand films to social ads to testimonials, video brings your story to life and makes your audience feel something. Every brand has a story to tell, and our team at Zimmer Communications is ready to tell yours. You know business, we grow business. ZimmerCommunications.com.
You already know that Midway Electric is the top team of electrical pros in mid-Missouri for the last 25 years. What you may not know yet is that they can now service your HVAC system. So to make sure it's ready for the rigors of a hot summer, Midway Electric is offering a spring HVAC check for just $49.99, including AC inspection, preventative maintenance, and pressure-free recommendations. They can handle your electricity, so why not have them handle your air conditioner too? Midway Electric, powered by people with pride. MidwayElectricInc.com.
Riddle me this. You're hearing a squeak and a rattle, and you've got a dashboard light that pops on just to keep you guessing. Cool. Thanks, car. Look, you can ignore it or take it to people who actually know what they're doing. Riddle's Automotive Solutions. To you, it's a riddle. To them, it's just another Tuesday. Riddle's Automotive Solutions, 4300 Bold Venture Drive off Smiley Lane in Columbia. RiddlesAutomotiveSolutions.com.
I'm Robin Riddles. Come see us at your local mom and pop auto shop, Riddles Automotive Solutions, in Columbia.
What happens when a recruiter, a sales rep, and a manager walk into a bar? They leave their day at the door, grab a drink, order a few fantastically delicious burgers, and enjoy their afternoon. Now this is team building. Because Billiards on Broadway was built by people who know how to have a good time and share it with coworkers and friends. A team that needs a break walks into Billiards. What happens next is up to you.
Looking on down for burgers and beer. Billiards on Broadway.
Call your shot at billiardsonbroadway.com.
KTGR AM Columbia, KTGR FM Fulton Columbia, K286CL Columbia, in Missouri's total sports station. KTGR Sports Center.
I'm Christine Lisi. The NCAA Men's and Women's Selection Committees voted to expand both the men's and women's college basketball tournaments to 76 teams starting next season. Both the Pistons and Thunder look to hold on to home court advantage when they each host Game 2s of their respective second-round NBA playoff series tonight. Detroit's home to a Cleveland team that has yet to win on the road this postseason. Coverage bottom of the hour, ESPN Radio. OKC, coming off an 18-point win in the opener, is home to the Lakers. Knicks forward OG Anunoby, right hamstring strain day-to-day, questionable for Game 3 against the 76ers tomorrow. ESPN NBA analyst Kendrick Perkins.
The New York Knicks are playing mind games with the Philadelphia 76ers when they list them day-to-day. Because if I'm in the front office of the New York Knicks, there's no way in hell I'm bringing them back for 3 and 4. Like, it's not no day-to-day. No, you're out. We'll see you for Game 5 if you're available. And if it's not that serious.
Hornets signed coach Charles Lee to a contract extension after a 25-win improvement this past season, and the team coming within one game of ending a lengthy playoff drought.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Progressive can help you protect your home, auto, boat, motorcycle, ATV, and RV, and more. And if something wasn't mentioned that you had in mind, find out if it can be covered at Progressive.com or 1-800-PROGRESSIVE, because it probably can be.
From Faro. 15 to the 10, to the house. Bush. Back to the wall, and it's got her. And Arrowhead. Kansas City to your speakers.
This is the big show, baby.
Get fresh takes on the biggest sports stories in mid-Missouri. Right now, this is The Big Show with Andy and Brendan on KTGR.
Well, we've seen some pretty good Cardinals baseball of late. Will we see more of it as they go to San Diego? That's been a really hot team, too. Cardinals starting a 4-game set late tonight. You'll hear coverage on the Cardinals radio network beginning at 8:15 this evening. Can the Cardinals keep things going in San Diego? We'll talk about it here in a bit. We'll talk about whether the Chiefs should go after Stephon Diggs now that his legal situation appears to have cleared up. Is that a guy you want to go after if you're a Chiefs fan? And an update on the Royals pitching staff, and now it's starting to get a little less healthy, it would seem, here, at least in the short term. We'll get to all that, but first, it's 5 o'clock.
It's time for the Top 5 at 5 on The Big Show. Number 1.
If you want to trade away for curtain number 1, you can have curtain 1.
So the times are changing in college athletics, and 76 teams is official now for men's and women's college basketball for the NCAA tournaments. That'll be starting next year. It's still going to keep the same format for the most part, right? The round of 64 is still going to look the same. Andy and I are kind of wondering when the various outlets will make us fill out our brackets, because there will be quite a few games on those Tuesday and Wednesday dates heading into the normal Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday of the long opening weekend. I think it's getting watered down for sure. And I do think, those coaches that stump for it, Dennis Gates included, you got to understand that you can't have it both ways. If it wants to be something that's meaningful for coaching contracts to make the NCAA tournament, all right, but there should be a higher expectation to make it with more frequency now that a lot more teams are getting in.
Number 2.
Number 2, your timing is impeccable.
But overall, I'm not really too worried about the expansion to basketball. However, the Coaches Association approving 24 teams in college football, that's their recommendation, would be another matter. I just don't think that is the way that we need to be going after we waited so long to get to a 12-team playoff from 4. Suddenly, a couple of years later, we're going to double it. I think we should pause on that. And certainly, if we do end up expanding again, reward those teams at the very top for having good seasons. Otherwise, the college football season isn't going to mean as much as it used to.
Number 3.
There's Jordan for 3. Yes!
Cardinals head out to San Diego for a 9-10 start on KTGR this evening. It'll be Matthew Liberatore on the mound against Michael King. Cardinals had a good homestand, right? Beating the Dodgers 2 out of 3. They split with the Brewers, needing to find a way to continue to play good baseball with some national eyeballs, too. That'll be on the Redbirds this weekend is going to be important on the road trip.
Number 4.
Oh, shanked it.
Yeah, look, TMZ, I think they're out for blood on the Vrabel-Rossini thing, and I got to be honest, they deserve every bit of the attention they're getting on these old things being drudged up. Now they rented a boat somewhere in Tennessee together 5 years ago. Look, I feel bad for the families because those people don't deserve this being prolonged in the media the way that it's going to be, but Rossini, Vrabel, I don't feel bad for them at all. The hubris that they showed in their initial responses, dismissing the speculation as laughable, no, man, it was so much deeper than that. How conceited do you have to be to know you were doing all that and then to basically dismiss it all?
Number 5.
What did the 5 fingers say to the face? Slap!
What do San Diego, Denton, Texas, and DeKalb, Illinois all have in common? It's places that Mizzou football probably ain't going, despite what the schedule says.
That's The Big Show's Top 5 at 5 on KTGR.
Yeah, call or text us 573-875-KTGR. Yeah, I mean, just going further to it, you can't go to Northern Illinois. You can't.
You absolutely can't go to Northern Illinois.
Go to Northern Illinois in 2029. That's another one of the 5 road games in the SEC and 4 home games. So yeah, that will not work.
Because we know the 2029 schedule. We know that Mizzou is on the other side of the situation that year with 5 road games in conference. So Missouri would play Missouri State, Illinois, and Army all at home.
Yeah.
And that would get you to 7. So that's got to go at Northern Illinois. There's really no upside to even keeping that one. No offense to the fine folks of DeKalb, Illinois, but you just can't do that. That would presumably lop off the 2028 date though with Northern Illinois, right? If you're canceling your series with them, I believe that was a 2-for-1.
Yeah, there's
And
another
a
one in
future date,
2032 that you have.
which isn't a problem because right now they've only got at Kansas as the other one in that year. But like you can fill that part of the schedule 6 years from now. 2028 would be a year where you're going to Illinois. So I think it's okay to lose a home game, though, that year because they'll have 5 in conference. So it would be 7 home games in 2026. If they lose San Diego State, it would be at least 6 of them in 2027. But then you'd have that neutral with Illinois. That's why, as much as I would love to go to San Diego, there's no way they're playing the game. I just don't see any way. 2028, you can lose Northern Illinois and still keep 7 home games. 2029, same thing. And then from there, they go to Denton, Texas. That's one with North Texas that'll probably have to be blocked off. But we don't know the 2030 conference opponents yet. So, like, maybe there's a realm in which they could salvage that series. They've also got Florida Atlantic going to and coming to our place down the road. So I don't know.
I think the interesting one there is Colorado. Colorado is on there 2030 and 2031. And
they've also got Kansas.
You've got 2 Power Fours on 2031 schedule and at Colorado and hosting Kansas. So, I mean, that will be interesting for sure.
Yeah,
how they frame that.
I'd like to keep the Colorado series, but you're really talking about your 9 conference games, and you're gonna go like I don't think they can do it necessarily if 2031 is one of those years where they play 5 road games in the SEC play. But if it's not, like they'll have to probably nix Florida Atlantic as well because that's a home and road, and they've got that as a road in 2031. 2031, which like who cares? It's 5 years from now. That one's a mess because it's at Colorado and at Florida Atlantic with the Kansas being a home game. So that's your Power 4. Like you don't need the Colorado one there, but it would be cool to have. So, but they've got 2 road games happening in 2031. One of them's definitely not happening, and the other one probably may not either. We'll see.
I'd at least be intrigued, though. And again, depending on how Mizzou is as a program, but it's hard to predict too, right? Because you got to have these on the books for years and years and years. You know what? Every so often, have a couple Power 4 opponents on your non-con. You know, challenge yourself even more. Like even with the SEC schedule being 9
especially games. Because they're 2 Big 12 rivals. Right, like Colorado and Kansas. Like I would welcome that in that year. But you would nix North Texas. You would probably have to nix Florida Atlantic, which means you need another G5 game at that point in 2030 because you're hosting Southeast Missouri and Colorado in 2030. But they do those SEC schedule opponents in 4-packs, and so we don't know 2030, 2031 what that would be. Which year's the 5? Which year's the 4? When it comes to conference home games. So of these on there, though, Andy, the one you mentioned, the Colorado one, is the one I would like to keep the most, just because it's like, I know it might make life more difficult then, but like, let's keep something for the fan, right? We're kind of eschewing the fan in every which way with all these changes to college sports. Let's keep that one for the fan.
Yeah. Because by that time, Dion probably won't be there anymore. He'll be coaching the Cowboys. Like, you know, it'd be all the.
Is anybody going to be where they are 5 years from now? Realistically, like Trink's probably not here in 5 years, just because that's the.
Hey, that would be awesome if he was. If that was the case, that would mean things have been going very well, and he realizes it. And
that would be great.
And all that was hunky dory for everybody involved. But yeah, I mean, it's college football these days. It's hard to even predict that. Although, like I think I even asked the question like on this show, even like 6 years ago or whenever the Kansas series was put on the schedule, where it was like Eli Drinkwitz was just hired and Les Miles was still at Kansas. And I was like, do either coaches make it to the game?
Yeah.
And it's
one
like
of them did.
One of them did. Les Miles, on the other hand, well,
no.
Did not
short-lived
at all happen. But yeah, a lot work to be done on the non-con schedule. Mizzou will make it as competitively favorable for them as possible. I would just be interested to see if they do try to have a few interesting things for the fans in there too with those non-con games. Call or text us 573-875-KTGR. You want to weigh in on that, on playoff expansion, potentially down the line for college football, definitely happening for the NCAA tournament next year. But let's talk some Cardinals here, because there are 43 combined wins between them and the Padres as they enter this series in early May 7th to be exact. And it's pretty notable. That's a high magnitude series. You learn a little more about what this Cardinals team can do on the road against a club that is strong in the National League and will probably be in the playoffs if they keep this up. This is an interesting series here with almost your full rotation going, and you get to start with the very top of it. I am really intrigued by what we could learn about this Cardinals team this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be a challenge on the TV side. They've got several national TV games as well. So, like, more eyeballs potentially learning about what this Cardinals team is about. And you always want to show well in those scenarios if you possibly can. It'll be interesting, man. Like, this will be a lineup that I think, if we're talking about the way that this goes wrong for the Cardinals, I think it's a San Diego lineup that could get at their pitching a little bit. And so the ways that your starting pitching have to hold up, and then the bullpen behind it, I think that's going to be the key to the weekend. The Cardinals will find their ways to score runs, but you got Liberatore, McGreevy, Dustin May, and then Kyle Leahy on Sunday. Like, it's a big series for them.
And the way San Diego is played at home, that place is just a juice box, man. That they get fired up in that stadium. And for a weekend series,
they draw well.
Yeah, well, it's an awesome ballpark. It's great sight lines and great hospitality and everything like that. And then the team being as good, and they seem to get a lot of these primetime games also that add a little more magnitude to it. And it seems that they have pieces across the board. I'll even go to their pitching staff at times. Like, they just have guys that go out and produce that you just don't hear about all the time. And then when it comes to the postseason, they just, for whatever reason, they can't get the final play, the final pitch, whatever it is. But they've been a very competitive team for 5 years. And I think it's a fair team to have a good litmus test against. Like, you can determine how good your team is based on how you do against them. I'm really interested in how this lineup is able to attack it. Good news, Nathan Church appears to be in the lineup. So I guess the flight was good for him after coming out of last night's or yesterday's game.
Yeah, I'm not too surprised to see that. He did have a nice welt on his leg for sure yesterday afternoon from that hit by pitch, but I don't think there was going to be anything further, and he's going to want to be in there. So, yeah, it's pretty much a standard lineup that the Cardinals have going for them tonight. Pedro Pajes behind the plate again. They're going to get things back on track with what their normal schedule for the catching rotation has been. And, yeah, good to see the Churches in there.
What do you want to see most? Because I think you can hope that the bullpen makes some strides forward. Like, if you see some clean innings from guys, again, we're talking about this lineup for the Padres. If you get a few guys some positive moments in environments like this against lineups like that, I would like to see it from that standpoint of, okay, maybe a few bullpen guys, if they get some clean innings, can gain a little bit of confidence, and you feel better about that going forward.
Yeah, I mean, there will definitely be challenges when it comes to the lineup that they're going to be facing. I mean, Jackson Merrill, Manny Machado, Tatis out there. I mean, they've got some guys that you got to look out for, and you're not going to be able to pitch around all of them. So, it'll be a series where Oli Marmol I think has to put, his managing cap on and be able to hit those lanes with certain relievers, but they also have to be able to go out there and do the job. Like, you can't throw the pitches for them. So it'll be a real challenge with some of those late inning moments that are inevitably going to pop up in this series. And they've been feeling good about where guys are in terms of JoJo Romero and Riley O'Brien, but like continuing to find, I think George Soriano has been a revelation as somebody that's been elevated into that circle of trust. But how much beyond that does it extend? Like Gordon Graceffo had been really, really good, gave up a home run on Monday. So is some of his kind of expected numbers starting to come back down to earth a little bit and reflect what's actually happening out there? It's going to be an interesting test for that middle relief crew, because this just has not been a Cardinals rotation where everybody's going 6. So like there'll be games this weekend where guys don't get super deep into the game, and how they get to that late inning crew is going to be a challenge.
And it's out of the guys that are starting, I mean, you do wonder how Kyle Leahy will do. I mean, there's been progress last couple of starts for him, so we'll see how he does Sunday. Like McGreevy has been good, May's been good. I'm intrigued by what Matthew Liberatore might do tonight.
Yeah,
like it's a bit of a question mark, because look, he's had solid outings. I don't know how many of them. Like, I mean, he's pitched. He has finished 6 innings twice, and both of those starts were strong. Like, he only allowed 1 run in both of them against the Mets and the Astros. Those are pretty good lineups, and so like he did his job against the Dodgers lineup last time out. So maybe some more positive things that you're seeing from him. I wonder how far he can go in a game like this, or how effective he can be, because he is viewed as ace potential, maybe not the ace of this staff right now as we speak, but I mean, again, opening day starter, like you obviously see a lot in him, and I wonder how he can try to navigate this particular lineup based on, the upside he has.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know when it comes to his upside. Like, I think he's got the upside to be pretty good. I don't think he's like ace caliber. I don't think he's ever going to miss enough bats to really be that. He got the ball on opening day by virtue of he started every game last year and was solid, but not a huge strikeout guy. So, pick your spots to look to miss bats, but yeah, be as efficient as you can and start this series off on the right foot. If he could get you 6, great. But I also think there's an element to, if it's another one of those 5 2/3, 2-3 runs allowed, okay, just, keep him in the game, because this is a lineup that can swing it, and you don't want to be feeling that kind of way that you were in the final game against Milwaukee, where you give up 4 in the first inning and it feels like you're already kind of out of the game. And the offense kind of responded in kind with that. They didn't necessarily have the at-bats that were going to be able to swing their way back into that game. So if you're Liberatore, just don't allow those crooked numbers that can kind of set a negative tone to begin the series. I think I don't have super high expectations. I don't think he needs to do a ton other than what he's kind of been doing tonight, but don't let this be one where it gets away from you.
Yeah, I guess maybe what I'm wondering is that this Cardinals team is starting out very competitive, and the longer they keep doing what they're doing, the longer we're going to start wondering, like, hey, is this all of a sudden a playoff team? Do they have that type of trajectory at the moment? I would say that if you have a rotation that is getting you to that baseline, that tier of teams that you're trying to stay competitive, that probably means that McGreevy and Dustin May are keeping up what they've been doing. I mean, they can hit bumps in the road here and there, but they're generally doing what they've started to do so far this season. And maybe in May's case, it's notwithstanding the first couple blowups that he had. But keeping that up, and then you wonder about whether Palante and Leahy can do that. Palante has certainly shown a stronger start to the year than what he showed a lot of last year. But I feel like the fulcrum point is Liberatore. Like, how he kind of does maybe dictates a little bit of how this rotation could shape up as a potential playoff rotation, if that is in fact in the Cardinals' future. Again, don't know if it is, but if they are in that position, it means that you've got 2 guys that are pretty darn good, 2 that could be iffy night in, night out, and then Liberatore is like the swing guy of like, okay, this kind of determines how your rotation really is at that point in the year.
Yeah, because like I'm thinking through it, I think May has been pretty solid outside the first couple, like quality starts in 4 out of 5, has like a 2.5 ERA over his last 5. Like he's been much better than when he was just giving up hits a bunch of hits to the Rays and Detroit Tigers. Like, that was the tough little stretch, and it was the first stretch, so we just like didn't really know what to expect. I feel like you're more or less going to get from him what you're going to get. The two that I feel like are, and McGreevy's been great. I don't think he'll be quite that the rest of the way, but he's been very, very good. There will be some regression for him because he is so bat to ball, but I still think he can rise above some of those expected numbers and continue to be good. The two that I really think I'm more bullish on than maybe what the numbers indicate and maybe the way just some Cardinals fans feel about it is Leahy and Palante. With Palante, I mean, you can't say this because it's obviously what happened, but he was that one pitch that caused you to go from a 1-run inning in the first to then 4. He still ends up getting you 6 innings, and it would be just a completely different outing if he's able to make a better decision than 3-2 fastball against Andrew Vaughn, and he made him pay for it. He was really frustrated after the game with that. And so, like, do we evolve? Do we adjust? And do we avoid making that type of mistake next time? And if you walk a guy, and even if you walk in a run, does that limit the damage because you're able to go after the next guy who's not as much of a power threat, whatever the case might be? That outside of that one pitch, which he earned it, like he loaded those bases. Nobody else did it for him. But I think Palante bounced back from that pretty well and has generally been a solid arm for him this year. Leahy, it's that 6th inning thing, but he's looked really, really sharp in the first 5 innings the last couple of games and is a very cerebral pitcher and is I think on top of his process to try and get over this hump. If he can't get over it and he goes 5 1/3 and gives up 1 run like he did the last game, that's not the worst thing in the world either. So I think that it's largely sustainable, but you're right that the biggest wild card is Liberatore because he's the one I least have confidence in what I will receive. Not that I have the least amount of confidence for him to be good. I think there's the most variance for him from like what a good outing looks like versus what a bad one may look like.
That's fair to put it because you know that there are some really good outings in there from Matthew Liberatore. Like he's shown it even before he was a full-time starter. Like you've seen what he can do, but it's just there have also been the off nights that then offset it, and he's at a 4.5 ERA right now, which means 6-3, 3 runs allowed in 6, which is a quality start.
I would take
good.
6-3. I would take 6-3 tonight. I would take 4.5 for his season.
Yeah.
Maybe that's not quite giving him enough credit, but he was like a 4.2 last year. I don't think that's drastically different. So yeah, that's not an ace. Like that's not a number 1, but I think that would end up being, passable.
Yeah.
And look, if all 5 of your starters are passable, I think you've got enough elsewhere to be able to hang. But it's not sexy. I agree with that.
It's in my mind, it's potentially a missing piece to what could be huge upward trajectory for the Cardinals here very soon. But still got to deal with the Padres here in what's a series that, look, it's early May, but it can have a little bit of weight to it. And we'll see how much it feels that way with, again, all the exposure that they'll get and all the fans that'll be in the building rooting for the other guys. You can hear it tonight with first pitch at 9:10 here on KTGR. I think they split the series, if you ask me.
I think they would take that. I think I would take that on their behalf. Yeah, just keep treading water. You're in a good spot if you do that. So I would say that would be okay.
What do you think the Cardinals will do in this series against the Padres? Call or text us 573-875-KTGR. Up next, would you want the Chiefs to go after Stephon Diggs now that his situation seems to have cleared up? That's next.
Breaking down the Tigers, Cardinals, Chiefs, and more like no one else. The Big Show continues next on KTGR.
Hi, I'm Sarah Sticklin-McDonald.
And I'm Charlie Sticklin with the Sticklin & Sticklin Law Firm.
And I'm Mizzou Softball's Natalie Touche. At Sticklin & Sticklin, all we do is personal injury.
We've earned millions for our clients since 1991.
On the diamond, I trust my team. Off the diamond, I trust Sticklin & Sticklin. Don't let the insurance companies strike you out. Let Sticklin & Sticklin go to bat for you. Sticklin & Sticklin, it's a home run.
Spring is in the air, and Aleve long-lasting pain relief is here to keep you moving. The days are longer and the flowers are blooming. Whether it's gardening, yard work, or just spending more time outdoors, spring is a way of getting us moving despite any body pain. That's where Aleve can keep you going. With just one dose, Aleve gives you long-lasting body pain relief for up to 12 hours. From sunup to sundown, Aleve's got your back. Try Aleve. Use as directed for minor aches and pains.
Progressive knows that boat days can come with unexpected problems.
Oh no, I dropped my lip balm in the water. I can't think of anything worse than the looming threat of potentially having chapped lips. It was ginger vanilla too, my favorite flavor.
If a real problem comes along, your boat's protected 24/7 with Progressive, so you can keep worrying about boater problems. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in D.C.
We're trying to save people money. Go. What if we cut sandwiches into thirds instead of halves?
We could stop buying warranties and just hope.
What about switching our toilet paper to half ply?
Ew.
It doesn't take a terrible think tank to save money. Just shop at Family Pawn. They've got jewelry, electronics, tools, and gifts for way less. No sacrifices, no half-ply TP. Ugh.
Not your traditional pawn shop. Family Pawn.
A colony of termites. They make it sound so nice, don't they? A colony. Well, it's not nice. It's the vanguard of a precision operation that could involve up to as many as 1 million termites in your backyard. That's more termites than people in the Uzbekistan army. Think about that. The Uzbekistan army underground in your backyard, and they want to eat your house. Now, you can either call the National Guard, but they're busy, or call your friend Steve.
I'm Steve with Steve's Pest Control. Our Centricon system for termites doesn't just get them out of your house, it kills the entire colony, dead. Plus, we give a $250,000 termite damage warranty protecting your home. We're going to solve your pest problem. I guarantee it.
From the tenacious termites to the rascally rodents, call Steve's Pest Control. Online at stevespestcontrol.com.
Now you got a friend in the pest control business. Steve's Pest Control.
Everyone's looking for their paradise. For some, the search starts at a dispensary. At Shangri-La, it is the dispensary. Because Shangri-La isn't a shady, I can't wait to get out of here kind of spot. It's a welcoming, fun place to hang out, watch TV, and learn about the massive product selection with the cool staff. Whether you're a regular or first-timer, they'll get you set up just the way you like. Because Shangri-La Dispensaries is paradise found. ShangriLaDispensaries.com.
If it's Mizzou sports, it's happening here. Now, back to the big show on KTGR.
Well, just in case you're wondering where the Cardinals games will be on television each and every day for the rest of this week, just know that it's on KTGR every day. Definitely on 100.5 FM. You can also listen on 93.9 The Eagle and 94.3 Cat Country. Each of these next 4 days as the Cardinals take on the Padres. You can call or text us with what you think will happen in that series at 573-875-KTGR. Andy and Brendan here on the big show. So Stephon Diggs appears to be in the clear on his legal situation. Didn't look good if it was all going to come to fruition or like he would be found guilty of that, but it seems that's not the case. And as he is now a free agent, teams maybe now have the freedom to go after him. Does that mean the Chiefs should? Should they do it, Brendan?
No, I'm not really too compelled by it. No.
Really?
No. Yeah, I'm a no. I'm a no on that, I think.
Well, I would think the money would be the more prohibitive thing.
I'm just no on Diggs in general, I think.
You just don't want him on your team? Just in general?
Yeah, I don't like, okay, I'm just not so eager to add another guy where I can go, oh, phew, he didn't get in legal trouble. Like, I don't really see the upside of that. I see the downside for sure, but I don't really. Yeah, I think I'm okay on that one. I got enough to worry about with making sure Rashee Rice stays out of trouble.
Well, that in of itself is its own thing. I will say, well,
that's part of the thing, though.
Okay, well, frame it this way: would you rather have Tyreek Hill or Stephon Diggs?
Diggs.
Yeah, I would too.
Because Diggs can still play a little. Diggs can still play. He had 1,000 yards this past year. and 85 receptions. Tyreek Hill, I don't have a clue what's coming with him. Like, I don't think he'll be able to do it again. That was a bad injury at his age. I don't really think I don't have high expectations for him, even if he signs somewhere.
See, and that's kind of where I'm at. I am intrigued by Diggs as a player. Like, again, he has shown even just last year, even though it didn't jump off the page across the NFL landscape, like, he was most productive receiver really that the Patriots had in a year where Drake May was almost the MVP. And so like that, Diggs still has a chance to produce for a team when healthy. And again, when available, whether it's health or something else, teams will go after him. There will be multiple teams trying to get Stephon Diggs. And so that's why I think in the end, the Chiefs might be out of that because it's going to be too much money. They're not going to be able to be able to make the space for it. And so in my mind, they are more in the camp of getting a player like a Tyreek Hill, because that may be Tyreek Hill's only option. Like, it just might be, and maybe that's the way he wants it. He's been very adamant on social media that he just wants to be a Chief again. If you can read between the lines, like, it is just, it's clear at this point. I would predict that it happens. I don't know how much I like it, Brendan. Again, like, I don't know how much it's
going to be a Chief. You really think that's happening
at this point? Yeah, I do. Like, and we're just all kind of, it's not similar to the Aaron Rodgers situation. It's but it kind of is. Like, look, Rodgers, we know you're going to be in Pittsburgh. Even last year when he just signed there.
He's a clown.
Yeah. It's just,
I don't think it's the same here, because I think the Chiefs have to decide if they want Tyreek Hill back for sure. I think with the Rodgers thing, like, the team would probably be on the team, be their quarterback. They did it last year, but he's just got to hold them hostage. He's a weirdo.
He is. They may be waiting for some more cuts across the league, because that can still happen. Like, teams will have openings to cut players after June 1st and save some money that way.
Is there
and all
any
that.
possible way
Yeah,
we could do something different than this, or is this just what we got to do?
I mean,
it's
yeah,
affordable, and there he is.
it's probably it. I mean, they might be doing that for several positions, like just waiting to see, hey, is a team going to drop a salary because they feel like they need to, and they're waiting to do it because after a certain date they get a chance to do it and save some like dead cap that way, or whatever it is. And like, you see that across the league. You even see that, after training camp, you'll wait to see if you can leave a spot open or two and say, oh, who's cutting guys that we could maybe add to our 53 and put into the room, and see if we can't use them. Like, there's still that part of it, which is why, like, teams will go after Diggs now. I think Diggs will be signed within the next month. So
yeah, now that the legal stuff is not a thing, is that that just going to clear teams to go, okay, he's still 1,000-yard receiver,
right?
Like, was a key weapon for a guy who almost won the MVP. Like, still has gas in the tank. He's up there in age as well, but yeah, it's a different category than Tyreek, because Tyreek is the same age coming off of a major injury. But with Diggs, I think you can get the production still. He's not like a take the top off guy, but he's become kind of a pretty reliable possession receiver. I mean, it's not as much explosiveness as maybe he used to have, but he's never been a huge like yard per reception guy anyway. I think he's still solid, and with what the Chiefs have already, you could see it fitting. I just don't know. Like you said, with the competition for him, I don't know that that's going to be the category. Even if you decided, yeah, I don't care that he's kind of, always lurking with a legal concern or the threat of one. I'm not worried about that relative to what else my roster has already. If that's how you feel, then fine. But like, I don't know that the money and the ability to fit him in is necessarily going to be there relative to everywhere else.
The way the Chiefs would do it is by restructuring some contracts. I think they can still do it with Creed Humphrey and Trey Smith And I think Chris Jones, or maybe they've already done Chris Jones, but it comes down to like how much space is that? Like, can you stay in the sweepstakes for Stephon Diggs? Even like also considering that I think the Chiefs would only offer a 1-year deal. At the same time, I don't think you're offering multiple years to him. So it would depend also how other teams view that aspect of it. If they're looking to bring in Diggs to their team, and you can easily tell Tyreek Hill, hey, it's just 1 year, buddy. And you're making a fraction of what
he's going year to year regardless. Like he doesn't have the leverage over any team to do anything else coming off that injury. Yeah, he's lucky if he gets a chance to play. I really do feel that way. Like that's devastating injuries. You're not getting multiple year guarantees off of something like that at 32.
And like that's a move where like I would put the wide receiver room as number 2 right now in a place that you would most need to add for the Chiefs at this point for 2026.
Behind obviously quarterback.
Well, obviously, because you can't have enough quarterbacks, so you're not sure if Mahomes is going to be ready. Like, I mean, I know you got Justin Fields, I know you drafted Garrett Nussmeier, but man, you got to look for more guys. You know, you saw how many quarterbacks went down last year.
What's your top position of need?
It's edge.
If wide receiver is 2,
I think it's still edge. I think again, George Karlaftis is the oldest guy in the room, and he's 25.
Yeah.
So like you gotta bring some experience there. Cam Jordan would fit that perfectly. Like you can bring him in. Like Calais Campbell was a candidate, but now he's back with the Ravens. He's 40. I wouldn't care.
Yeah,
like,
dude, he just keeps doing it.
Yeah, I wouldn't care that he's 40. He can still fill out a rotation spot for that defensive end room. Because right now it's Karlaftis and maybe our Mason Thomas. Like I wouldn't want to throw him out there as the starter right away.
You're hoping though. That's what you're hoping could happen. Calais Campbell still had 6.5 sacks last year.
I know.
He's just still doing it. He's crazy, man.
Guy's he's absolutely a Hall of Famer once he gets his chance.
Oh, for first ballot, gotta be.
Yeah. So I mean that's insane in and of itself. But just yes, you want our Mason Thomas to be a starter for you eventually. I just don't know if it's going to happen for you right away. And so you gotta again, Cam Jordan would fill that very easily. And there are other veterans out there that are available that you can add to the room and see if at least you get a floor of what to expect, not even just for sacks, but just guys that offenses need to react to. Like right now, they're not reacting to FAU or Mason Thomas or Ashton Gelati. Like they're not. And so, and in a way, they're not even doing it for Karlaftis. So you got to have somebody that moves the needle a little bit.
Yeah, that's the one part of the draft is maybe not prioritizing that quite as much, but they prioritize the defense a ton. They did draft our Mason Thomas. Maybe they're just really high on him being able to step in and be a factor. But I just don't know if Karlaftis is enough by himself to really inspire that fear. And you can't really make a team pay for treating your line a certain way if you don't have anybody else that can bring the thunder too.
It's tough because the Chiefs went ahead and decided like, hey, we're going to use our premium assets to have a lockdown corner that I would hope presumably for them, if he works out and is the player that he is, that you keep around and you build your defense around. That's great. But you do have to have you can't have it at the expense of the production that lost you games last year. It just flat out did. So that is still something that they somewhat addressed, and I like the young talent that they added in our Mason Thomas to add to the room, and I think he'll be good. But you do need more guys that move the needle, and just having it in the defensive tackle room right now, even though it's Chris Jones and you drafted at D tackle in the first round too, like that does need to be prioritized. But it is like wide receiver, I do think is second on that list.
Okay.
Like, and
I mean, yeah, Yeah. You want one more guy for sure. I just don't know if it comes in the form of like a splash.
Tyreek Hill will be the biggest splash possible of that.
Yeah, I don't know what that even counts as anymore.
Like as far as a name that you know, like off the top.
Yeah.
It's just.
I think Diggs would be more significant because I expect Diggs to be more productive this year based on the injury with Tyreek Hill. I got to see it first. Speed was what he had, and he was already kind of starting to lose a step,
I do think if you add Hill to the room, he probably starts for you. He probably didn't play as many snaps as he did when he was first with your team. Doesn't play as many snaps as he did in a Dolphins uniform. But it does fill out the room. Because right now you're starting Jason Brownlee. Or you're not starting Jason Brownlee, but he's your sixth wide receiver. Make it somebody a little bit better. Like, try to get it closer to Jalen Royals being that. And see what Jalen Royals can do in that role. So
yeah, because he's not proven a darn thing yet.
And unfortunately, like he was hurt a lot of last year.
Right.
So you hope that he at least flashes and can provide something, maybe in a similar vein that Nico Remigio has been able to do, at least at the start right now. And then maybe you give him more chances to run routes. But yeah, Diggs, I think the more prohibitive thing is the money. Yes, you do worry about him potentially being a knucklehead. You need fewer knuckleheads in your wide receiver room, that's for sure. So just add Tyreek Hill and it'll all be fixed.
I don't know. I'm not buying it. But I'm also not like super worried about it anyway. Like I think with Rashee Rice and Worthy and your tight ends, like, and your running game now, like you're going to be okay. It'd be nice to have a little more depth though, for sure. That you like feel like is proven.
Well, look, Chiefs fans, who would you want to see them add? Is Stephon Diggs on your wish list? You can call or text us with what you think, 573-875-KTGR. Maybe a little more trouble for the Royals right now in the health of their pitching staff. An update from their loss that came down not too long ago. We'll get to that and more after this live local sports center on The Big Show.
Now, your local sports center update on your total sports station, KTGR.
Good afternoon. I'm Andy Humphrey. This Sports Center update is with Lee's Tire Company. If it's round and rubber, Lee sells it. Go to leestirecompany.com. Cardinal baseball is late tonight. Cardinals are in San Diego taking on the Padres for the start of a 4-game set. St. Louis comes in 21-15. The Padres are just a game better at 22-14 so far on the season. Matthew Liberatore starts for St. Louis this evening. First pitch, 9:10 Central. You can hear pregame coverage beginning on KTGR at 8:15. Royals lost the final game of their series against the Guardians today by a score of 8-5, so they split the 4-game series 2-2. Royals now are 4 games under 500 after that series. They stay at home to host another divisional opponent, the Detroit Tigers, starting tomorrow night. And sad news for Mizzou Gymnastics. The father of Mizzou Gymnastics, as he was called, Jake Jacobson, passing away at the age of 89 earlier this week. He founded the Mizzou Gymnastics program, kickstarted it in 1979, and coached the team for the next 20 years. Your ABC 17 Storm Track forecast is with the Boone County Office of Emergency Management, reminding you to be Boone County ready. Make a plan, stay informed, and sign up for Smart 911 emergency alerts. Ready.boonemo.gov.
I'm ABC 17 Storm Track Chief Meteorologist Jessica Hafner. I'm tracking increasing clouds tonight with temperatures dropping down into the upper 40s. Tomorrow we'll see some spotty showers possible in the morning with scattered showers and storms by afternoon. A couple of those could bring strong wind gusts and some small hail, especially south of I-70 through early evening. After that, we are left with clearing skies heading into the weekend with sunshine on Saturday.
I'm meteorologist John Ross, and that's your ABC 17 Storm Track forecast on your total sports station, KTGR.
On Simmons Field.
Swinging a ground ball, hit past third and the left. That's a base hit.
And across the SEC.
Fastball, swing and a miss. He struck him out.
The Tigers are ready to roar.
There it goes. Long drive, deep right field. That is gone.
This is your radio home for Mizzou baseball.
The Tigers win this one in a walk-off here in the bottom of the 9th inning.
Mid-Missouri's total sports station, KTGR.
When storms hit, the damage can be devastating. But really, you can prevent some of the damage a storm causes before it even happens with Advanced Tree Solutions. Advanced Tree Solutions protects you by removing hazardous trees and limbs so they don't destroy your home. Don't let a tornado or high winds decide what falls. Call the professionals with the gear, the crew, and the experience to keep your property safe. Advanced Tree Solutions, your tree's best friend. AdvancedTreeSolutionsLLC.com.
Play it or plunge it with Brian Ware Plumbing.
We need towels, lots of towels, every size and every kind. I was confident 30 seconds ago, but now I'm losing time. We need towels, lots of towels. I cannot stop the tide. My wife was right, I should have never DIY.
Vote now on the Brian Ware Plumbing Facebook or Instagram page.
If you're craving something delicious, find your way to the Pasta Factory, where everything's made from scratch daily. Their fresh sauces, cakes, quiche, dressings, and soups are sure to tantalize your taste buds. And all pasta entrees are cooked, baked, and tossed to order. Don't leave without sampling those homemade desserts, lovingly crafted by Jason and Rob. Good. The Pasta Factory. Visit them at 3103 West Broadway Business Park, right in front of Walmart. Celebrating 50 years in business. The Pasta Factory, where fresh meets flavor.
Rainy, what should we get Mom for Mother's Day? She doesn't need more candles. She definitely doesn't need another air fryer. Mom should go fill out her wish list at Bet's Jewelers. Bet's Jewelers is having a special wish list event May 5th through 9th. Come in and add 3 items to your wish list to get a $50 store credit. No minimum purchase, no catch, just free money, baby. Moms love jewelry for Mother's Day, so go to Bet's Jewelers and make it easy on Dad.
Beautiful moments begin at Bet's. Begin at Bet's.
Step into a real-life snow globe with Zimmer Communications and Colette Travel on this 9-day European Christmas vacation. Stroll through Prague, Dresden, Vienna, and Budapest. From castles and cathedrals to twinkling Christmas market stalls. Sip warm Glühwein. Shop handcrafted gifts. And even visit a family-run candy workshop. There's still time to experience this trip of a lifetime. Save up to $350 when you book before June 7th. Learn more and reserve your spot today at ZimmerCommunications.com.
We got involved with TrueSun a little while back because we actually had another contractor come out and build our deck for us. We come to find out later it had a lot of problems.
Really, my main goal was to make sure that it was a safe place for us to entertain, and the stairs were a big issue for me. They weren't structurally sound. I was just really concerned about my mom falling down the stairs.
We got a recommendation to TrueSun from some friends, and they've just been awesome.
He's pretty particular about everything has to be in its place to almost an annoying level. And he was very, very happy with their work.
We're super happy. We're looking forward to having guests out and having fun out there. As a matter of fact, I may have jumped up and down on it just to see if it moves, and it doesn't.
And really, I mean, Mark and I are both Mizzou fans, so how could you not go with somebody named TrueSun?
The difference between a house and a home is the attention to detail. At TrueSun Exteriors and Interiors, we'll turn your vision of a dream home into a reality. For more information or a free estimate, go to TrueSunExteriors.com.
TrueSunExteriors.com.
Your daily fix of local sports lives here. This is The Big Show on KTGR.
Call or text us with what you think about the Chiefs and what they should do for the rest of the offseason. Might still need to add some more free agents to be ready for 2026. Call or text us at 875-KTGR. A bit of a news note relating to the Chiefs, and maybe good news for them. Mike Garafolo tweeting about an hour ago, the District Court of Johnson County, Kansas, has dismissed the case against Chiefs defensive backs coach David Merritt, who had been arrested on a misdemeanor charge. Merritt's attorney said, quote, the DA's office looked at it a little more thoroughly and reviewed some additional information and agreed it was a matter that should be dismissed. So at least that's resolved. And
okay.
And David Merritt, who's a very good defensive backs coach, appears to not be facing anything further for that. This also from about an hour ago relating to Kansas City sports, now on the Royals side. After they lost today to the Guardians, Andy Rogers, who covers the team, tweeting this: Cole Reagans has valgus extension overload in his elbow.
That sounds good.
Next steps are TBD based on how he feels next few days. And Carlos Estevez has a right rotator cuff strain. Shut down for the next 3 weeks before being reevaluated.
I know that's bad.
That's bad.
The valgus thing, it doesn't sound amazing, but I know the other thing's no good.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, this Royals bullpen has all of a sudden crumbled. And it took one injury to really amplify it.
Yeah.
To the back end guy. And now you're basically throwing everything on Urseg to close out games or be your leverage guy. And you're looking for at least one other candidate out there that you can trust. But it was kind of part of the reason why they lost today. Now, look, they had to cover a long stretch. Seth Lugo could not get through. He couldn't even get to the fifth inning. He threw 102 pitches just to get through 4. So that set him back. But, I mean, they're having to piece it together with guys like that. Eric Sarantola. No disrespect to Eric Sarantola. He made his major league debut yesterday, and he was good. He had a good inning. He had a scoreless inning yesterday. A couple strikeouts. That must have felt awesome for him. Native of Canada, 26 years old.
Looks good.
Getting his chance. Went to Mississippi State college. Like, that was good. And then today he's got to come in the 6th inning and just make sure there's no extra damage done. You're down at that point 5-2. And then you give up 3 more runs. And then the Royals were able to get 3 more runs after that. And it's just, man, you wonder. You wonder if they could have climbed back in that game.
Yeah, hard to win when you give up 8, But I think the injury stuff, I think, is the most concerning aspect of it. Because we're talking about that bullpen struggling. Okay, Estevez turns out not getting him back anytime soon. Reagan's, I mean, wouldn't it make sense that he's got some injury stuff he's dealing with because the performance hasn't been up to what we're normally used to seeing? Like, I'm a little bit concerned about his long term, like for the full 2026. I'm a little bit concerned about that look in the way that the Royals want it to look.
Yeah, because it was billed as like tricep and elbow soreness yesterday when he came out of the game after 3 innings. And so he said today, earlier before the game, that he feels fine. But obviously the imaging came back and it's something that he'll have to at least rest for a few days, and then they'll see how he responds to it. But that's just, he's also kind of a missing piece to this, Brendan. Like the Royals being a competitive team, like I know they got good starters that you do trust. Like Lugo you trust, even though he had a bad day today. Waka you trust. Bubic, I think to a degree, you trust. Noah Cameron's hurt right now, and it's like Sunday's TBD right now for the Royals as far as who their starter's going to be. But Reagan's takes that to another level if he finds what we know is in him. So
I don't think it's in him right now. I think the elbow stuff is going to, anytime you start with an elbow, it's like it usually ends one way.
Man, you think?
That's my concern.
That's
my worry. That's my worry.
Well,
yeah.
Of course you worry for all circumstances when it comes to that. I do hope that they at least take the time that they need to with it. They don't rush it in May, because like this Royals team needs Cole Reagans. So right now, I mean, that series, as well as it started, you're kind of back to where you were, just splitting with the Guardians, had a chance to take the series last couple of days. And now this one against the Tigers, it feels a little more significant, because the Tigers, you know, are down and their pitching staff. And with an offense that has seen a few more gains here recently, you've got to find a way to make sure that you're asserting yourself in that sense, because maybe your pitching staff is going to need more of that help because of the health situation.
Yep. And like we know that pitching they got to have pitching, because their offense, as much as we do think it'll end up being better this year than what it was last year, their offense is not going to carry the day. Like the pitching has to be the aspect of the Royals that carries the day, whether that's, I think that's applicable to both the starters and the relievers.
Bobby Witt went 4 for 4 today.
Hey, so that's coming around.
I mean, yeah, it's coming around. You'd love to see that in a win. The Royals out-hit the Guardians today, but still unable to capitalize on their chances. 2 for 9 with runners in scoring position. Not great. And they had multiple. I know Pasquantino grounded into at least one double play. He had a chance to have crooked numbers today. Couldn't get them. And now the Royals sit still 4 games under 500. Look, they're right there. The division is there for the taking. They can sweep this weekend and things look a whole lot different. But kind of took the wind out of the sails a little bit last 24 hours or so. And now that you know about the injury situation, even worse. All right. So only a couple more hours until pregame coverage comes on for the Cardinals. That's it. That's
another hour until the game starts, and then there are 2.5 or 3 till it ends.
Yeah, that's all.
Late night coming.
All the coffee cups you're going to have to keep you up for Cardinals baseball tonight should be a lot of fun. So we'll be back to react to it all tomorrow. Thanks for joining us today. Hope you join us coming up at 4 o'clock tomorrow. We'll have Rob Vino of WagerTalk.com and much more on Cardinals and Royals and the like. So don't miss it tomorrow. He's Brendan. I'm Andy. We're done for now.